And welcome back to Sunday Square Off. Let's go deeper now on the ballot initiative filed last Friday to create a dedicated funding stream for schools. It's called the Invest in Education Act. It creates a source of cash, about $700 million a year, to pay for school employee raises and operations. It would double the income tax rate on individual incomes over $250,000 and household incomes over $500,000. Initiative backers need more than 150,000 signatures to qualify for the November ballot. They face a July 5th deadline to gather those signatures. Joining us is David Lujan. He's treasurer of the Invest in Education Committee. He's also director of the Arizona Center for Economic Progress and a former Democratic state legislator. Welcome back to Square Off.
Thanks, Brad.
Why push for a higher income tax on high wage earners and not a broader sales tax on all?
Well, Arizona's relied on the sales tax for many years, and it's really created an equitable system where today, if you're a low income or middle income Arizonan, you're paying almost 3 times your portion of your income in total taxes, talking about sales and income tax, than those higher earners. So we're trying to create a system where those who can afford it can help to pay their fair share for Arizona schools. Okay,
so those who can afford it. What is the hit on these high wage earners, $250,000, $500,000 and up?
Yeah, so this would only impact 1% of Arizona taxpayers.
Just 1%?
1%. 99% would not be impacted by this. And what it would do is for individuals who make $250,000 or more, or for married couples making $500,000 or more, it would raise our rates back to the levels where they were around in the 1990s, at a time when we used to fund our schools a lot better, closer to the national average.
So many of these people are small business owners. Small businesses drive our economy. That's what Arizona is all about. How concerned are you about the hit to small businesses if these tax rates take effect?
Well, again, this only impacts less than 1% of Arizona taxpayers. And this is really just taking us back, like I said, to where we were in 1990 levels. And I think most people would say that this is good for our economy. When you invest in public education, that's going to create a strong economy. It's going to create better economic conditions for all Arizonans.
Talk about that investment, because back in 2010, Arizonans approved a sales tax ostensibly for education. As you know, you were in the legislature then. Most of that money did not go to education. It basically bailed the state out of the recession. So how can voters be sure that this money is going to go, all of it, to schools?
It goes into the Classroom Site Fund, which is an existing fund that goes into classrooms. So it goes to pay teacher salaries, it goes to pay support staff, to lowering class sizes. So we'll make sure that that money is getting into the classroom. And the good thing about this is, because voters will approve it, if they approve it, it's voter protected, so it keeps the legislature from tinkering with that money in the future.
Another concern I've heard is that incomes for these folks go up, they go down, and that could lead to some bad years, kind of similar to what your criticism is of the governor's budget, which relies on growth. Is this too growth-based when you focus on these incomes?
Well, both the income and the sales tax can be volatile. They both can go up and down. We are confident that this would have a very stable funding source. And when you talk about that volatility in both income or sales tax, the one remedy, I think, to doing that is to create a more diverse economy. And how can you create a more diverse economy? But by investing in public education.
I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Joe Thomas just a few minutes ago. The model legislation gives teachers, local teachers and staff, essentially veto power over how a school board decides to spend the money. Why is that part of this initiative?
Well, what we've heard over and over from the voters is a frustration that they'll approve more money and it doesn't get to teachers, it doesn't get to classrooms. So this will give teachers and support staff input, not veto power. They'll be working
Again, I said this before to Joe Thomas, but that language is pretty strong. They must approve, it says.
I think that that language is already in, that's how many school districts are already operating in terms of this collaborative agreement and making sure you're getting that teacher.
That's a kind of collective bargaining agreement without calling it that, isn't it?
Well, I was on a school board, Phoenix Union, for 8 years, and we had that working relationship for many years where we would get the feedback from teachers and support staff, and it works well.
Was it codified in law?
No.
No, but this codifies it in law.
Yes, but I think it works to make sure that that money is getting into the classrooms, which is what voters are saying when they see, when they want to see that revenue getting into the classrooms, and that's what this does.
All right, David Lujan, thanks very much for joining us. When we come back, Republican Debbie Lesko wins the 8th Congressional District special election. So why does it feel like a defeat for Republicans? Stay with us.